Party leader Harry Reid says, hey, it's just the art of compromise.
There's 100 senators here, and I don't know if there's a senator that doesn't have something in this bill that was important to them. And if they don't have something in it important to them, then it doesn't speak well of them.
And apparently what was important to Louisiana Senator Mary Landrieu was the $300 million set aside to help her state pay for the cost of expanding Medicaid. She's taking some heat over that.
It's been a very unjust criticism. The fact of the matter is, and I know people don't believe this, but I can't be bought, and that is not why I'm supporting this bill.
And with a straight face. The question here, is there anything wrong with these backroom deals, or is this just politics as usual? With us now, political analyst Dick Morris, author of the big best-selling book, Catastrophe. Okay, Dick, well, you look at this long litany of Democratic payoffs that these senators got to vote for their own bill. So far, of the payoffs that we know about, we've got 10 states getting tens of billions of dollars in special favors and these big exemptions. When you look at this bribery grab bag, what strikes you as most egregious here, or is it all just outrageous?
The most egregious is the stuff we don't know about yet. All that we know about right now are givebacks in terms of this health care bill or the stimulus pork barrel kinds of projects like, the hospital that God got. What we don't know about is the promises that we given privately to raise money for somebody, to give somebody a judgeship or an ambassadorship if they get voted out of office because this. We have to follow these folks for the next 4 or 5 years and find out what manna descends upon them from heaven and understand that that's the payback on a bill that Reid negotiated.
That's what they were really promised. All right, well, you hear the Democrats and they say, hey, look, this is no big deal. This is business as usual. No worries, done all the time. Senator Harkin said this is small stuff we're talking about. But is it really, Dick? I mean, given the magnitude and the scope of this bill, is it really small stuff?
I mean, the point is it is small stuff. And how dare you sacrifice the health care of the American people for small stuff? I mean, okay, let's say that you get women's suffrage as a result of this. I'll go with that. Let's say you get a civil rights bill in addition to this. All right, I'll vote for health care. But a $40 million hospital someplace, and that's supposed to get me to mess up the health care system for the whole country? But I think the big thing that's going on here is that this is all being done in the light of day. This is the first time that it hasn't been done behind closed doors. And now all of a sudden it's out there for us all to see. And we're all watching exactly how you convert a moderate Democrat man of principle into a party faithful lockstep voter. And you understand the difference between the one and the other is a little item in his Christmas stuff.
Yeah, let me ask you, because they're saying that this is just average horse trading, but this is not an average bill. And you mentioned civil rights, you mentioned women's suffrage, Social Security, Medicare. There are so many sweeping historical examples here where we had widespread public support for these initiatives and big bipartisan support in the Congress. So when they're talking about paying off their own members for this bill, it strikes me as completely outrageous that they are doing. This is not the average bill, and therefore these payoffs are not the average horse trading we're talking about.
I think that's true, but I think that this is going to be a very important moment in American politics, because we are really now debunking the myth of the moderate Democrat. First, we saw in the Senate that when they needed 60 votes, they got 60 votes. Then we learned in the House that they let some people off the hook. And then this guy Griffith becomes a Republican because he knows that we're on to the game, and that just voting against health care is not enough of a statement that he's sincerely against the administration. He has to switch parties. So I think that we are actually watching now, in real time, the corruption of the moderate Democrats. And years ago, the smart people said, I just vote for the man or the woman, I don't vote for the party. Party labels don't matter to me, I vote for character and competence. Well, now that person is a fool, because we understand that in thinking that this member is somehow a moderate or conservative, he's just someone whose price hasn't been paid yet.
Well, and don't you think, Dick, that that the American people are just so sick of this. I mean, when they hear Harry Reid come out and say, this is business as usual, this is the way it's always done, stimulus was loaded with pork, the omnibus spending bills were loaded with pork, so what if the health care bill is loaded with all of these payoffs? Don't you think this is leading into this huge anti-incumbency wave that's already started?
Hey, come on, it's one thing to load a pig with pork. That's what the stimulus package was. But to load a health care bill where Americans are seriously and correctly worried that this is going to destroy the health care their parents get, that this is going to lead to government-imposed euthanasia, where they'll say, no, you can't have this annual mammogram because I know it might save your life, but it costs too much. No, you can't have this drug for colon cancer because I know that the drug we're going to let you take isn't as good as this one, but we can't afford it. When we come to those kinds of euthanasia-like decisions, to learn that the reason that the Senate approved this was some little bitty payoff that went on to some insurance company that gave you a campaign contribution. That kind of tawdry stuff for this kind of magnitude of deformity on our system is enough to drive people crazy, me included.
Absolutely, and I think people are fed up because they hate this bill, and now they've seen the corruption that's gone into it, and they hate it even more, and they hate all the people who are forcing it down our throats. Dick Morris, thank you. Merry Christmas. Great to see you. Next on the